Hello, guys. I'm reviewing Shio today. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's a platforming game that's on Steam right now, and it's pretty interesting actually. It's kind of like a lantern base is what they kind of call it, where like you have to use the lanterns to help progress through the levels and stages. There's no combat, and pretty much you just have to avoid all the obstacles that are in your way. And it's actually a lot of fun. It has full controller support. I actually tried playing this with mouse and keyboard, and the controls for that would be your typical WASD, and you use the J key to jump. Obviously, you could probably change that, but that's how it is by default. Um, I wasn't really liking that too much. Like, I wanted to try with the controller because I just felt it was a little weird to have both hands on the keyboard, and I kind of just wanted a controller just to play around with. So I plugged in the PS4 controller and it worked instantly. I didn't have to remap or anything. It was X to jump, and I could use both the D-pad and the analog stick. So I really appreciate that they support, well, at least a few controllers I've tried, they were mapped perfectly, and it wasn't a hassle. I've been playing other Steam games, and I know sometimes the controller support can be a little wonky, and you have to go into big picture mode. This game bypasses all that, so that was good. There's a story in the game. I'm not going to spoil it or really go into it very much, but it's a very like lore-based story. So it kind of happens in the background, which is pretty interesting. Think of it more like a Dark Souls type, how it unravels the story. So that's pretty cool. The game just starts. It doesn't give you any like prelude or anything like that. It just pretty much starts. You wake up and you start running through this area, and you start finding out more about what's going on in the world, and it seems pretty interesting. I also like that the game doesn't really give you much on the tutorial side of things. It pretty much just tells you how to jump and how to walk, and everything else you have to pretty much figure out. And what's interesting about it too is like at one point in these videos you'll see that I come across something like broken lanterns, like they're not fully built, like you see holes in them and things like that, and those don't give you as much height. They kind of just keep you in the air, like rather than like sending you upwards or sending you off to the side, so they don't give you as much distance. And I noticed it. Yeah, see, it's right here. I noticed it and I was like, huh, and then I noticed I didn't really do much, so instead of the game explaining that, I just basically figured it out. I'm like, huh, that looks different than what I'm used to. And then right away, it didn't give me too much of a challenge as far as like obstacles to learn that. But then later on, they incorporate them into more complicated challenges. One thing that I really like about this game, um, with platformers, when you kind of mess up and die, and you go back to the beginning of the obstacle, you have to pretty much wait for your timing again. You kind of like have that moment of standing still, and it's like, oh, this is really driving me nuts. In this game, when you die, if you notice, everything goes back to when you first encounter it. Technically, if you do everything by the book, you could pretty much fly right through this game and not have to worry about like momentum. Your momentum would be perfect, kind of like when you see like those crazy like Mario games, like those playthroughs. So I really appreciated that. One, the checkpoints are great, and two, the obstacles reset when you die, so you don't have to worry about like lost momentum. That was a really nice touch. It makes the game like a lot more fun to play, and you don't have a lot of like idling time. There's really no idling time at all. The only time that I really idled was when I was trying to figure out what to do next. Here's another example of the game just throwing a new mechanic in. Is this floor like heats up and kills you. They kind of show it a little bit on the first one, but I just didn't notice. I noticed on the second one though, and I basically have to just keep jumping and make very little contact with it. But that was cool. I really liked that. Then you see it again here, and I guess I could have probably went a little sooner than that, but I was just a little worried. I wanted to make sure I get all the jumps. But I really do like how this game does its platforming. I feel like in the product page, it says that if you like Super Meat Boy, you'll love this game. I feel that isn't very accurate because Super Meat Boy was like really, really fast paced. I mean, I'm sure this is going to get even faster and crazier at some points. I guess it could be like Super Meat Boy, but I really just feel like this game's like in a totally different category all of its own. There's definitely time trials. A lot of the achievements are based on timing and how quickly you do things and how flawless you do things, or flawlessly, I should say. So I guess that's probably why they're making that comparison. But overall, I would say that it's a pretty unique experience. And I feel like Super Meat Boy doesn't really hit that too much. At least for me, I don't think it really met with that. Not saying it's worse than or anything. It's just different, and it's a good different. I actually like this in some ways better than Super Meat Boy. It I don't know. Kind of reminds me of like um, maybe more like if there's a Super Meat Boy Mario hybrid kind of thing maybe. But I'm trying to think. I can't think of any games that like have you jump from lanterns that I've played. I mean, I know they probably exist, but I just don't remember playing any myself. But yeah, so that's the gameplay, which, like I said, is really good. Very tight controls, both on the keyboard and on the controller. It's just more personal preference for me on what I preferred, and the controller just felt better for this game, especially since it was fully supported. Um, the music is really good. I really like the music. It fits the mood. The mood is very like melancholy. Like there's definitely something wrong with the overall tone of this game, and you find out more on what it is later as you keep playing and talking to the NPCs and interacting with objects, and just unveiling the story. It's very well done on that part. Um, the sound design, aside from music, just like footsteps and stuff, on the moments where you walk and like more story is being told, it really just gives you this very like isolated, lonely feeling. I kind of like that. I really digged that whole thing. So pretty cool. I also noticed that the characters in this game, like not characters like as in people, but like the language characters are in Japanese. I thought it was originally, I mean, sorry, it's in Chinese. I originally thought it was Japanese, but it's in fact Chinese. So I guess this is based in some form of China. Um, but yeah, it's really well done. I really like that if you see a pattern, like I said, when it resets, if you see a pattern in the map, you could attack it the next time around and not have to worry about waiting for a certain time. So that's really cool. Games is really, well, I wouldn't say easy, but it's very intuitive to pick up and play. Like it's not overly complicated. It's not overly simplified. I see a lot of people are having problems playing through this game. They find it really challenging. Um, it definitely has a challenge to it, and it gets harder as it keeps going, obviously. But I think the first chapter gives you a really good idea of what to expect and how to play it and how to attack certain things. So I definitely recommend giving this a shot. I think it's $10 right now because it's on sale, but otherwise I think it's 11. Pretty good price for it. I actually thought this game was $20. I received it for free, so thanks to the developers on that for sending me one, free copy to do this review, and it is worth definitely $11. Definitely highly recommend this game. If I had to give it a number rating, well, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 for its platform. Like in its respected field, which is, I guess, this lantern-based platformer. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I haven't ran into any technical problems, like no glitches, skips, or anything like that. Seems to be locked at 60 frames, which is a pretty safe thing to do. You don't have to worry about like any frame drops or anything like that. I haven't seen any yet. Seems to be a very solid 60. So on a technical aspect, it runs beautifully. And I just really like the overall visuals, the sounds, the music. So yeah, definitely 10 out of 10 out of platforms. And as far as overall game, like if I was to put it into every category, I'll say 9 out of 10. But that's just because sometimes I feel like platformers are a very like niche audience, especially now. So, but yeah, so like I guess overall maybe 9.5. That would be overall 9.5 out of 10, or even a 9.8. Let's go with 9.8. I like that. It sounds better. But yeah, it's a beautiful game, really fun, very engaging. I actually had a lot of fun with it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it too much because they said Super Meat Boy. Not that I didn't like Super Meat Boy, but it's just I guess I had that like idea, and it's like, well, I kind of got enough of Super Meat Boy already. I kind of want something unique, and this is really unique and a lot of fun. So and here you see where they get some kind of dark tones, and with that, like I said, 9.8 out of 10. I'll leave you with this ending of chapter 1 little cutscene. I mean, I'm controlling the character, but it's pretty much like a cutscene for you to enjoy.